All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Tales from the Lockbox, a property.ca podcast. I am your host, Josh Benoliel, VP of Sales here at property.ca, condos.ca, and Mr. Loft.ca. And today, we are joined with the one, the only, the amazing Allie Hosch. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in on this morning and getting to sit with us and letting me dissect into your brain and picking some nice. I'm getting into the Halloween spirit here.
Oh, good, because I've got some horror stories for you.
Okay,
today.
well, we're going to get your tales from the Lockbox towards the end, but I want to get into the nitty-gritty of what makes Allie Hosch so successful and, you know, how you've become so amazing at your job and you know, people want to hear about it. So let's dive into it a little bit, and let's just start off the bat telling us a little bit about yourself and why you became a realtor.
All right, so I am somebody who has never worked in the real estate industry before this. I've always wanted to have my real estate license. Years and years ago, I actually took the admissions test at ORIA, and I passed it, but it was the math that really threw me off, and it was kind of alarming, so I was a little worried.
Okay.
So I have a background in marketing, PR, events. It all kind of goes hand in hand together. So I've worked for startup companies, I've worked for corporate companies, but I've always been working for other people. So my goal was I wanted to become my own boss, and I wanted to have unlimited earning potential. And what other job can you have that in than sales?
Of course.
Exactly.
So you came to the right place.
Exactly.
That's amazing. We're going to talk a little bit more about like your marketing experience in the past, and you know, one of the main things that we like talking about is you know, how staying motivated, what gives you that mindset. I'd also like to know a little bit about like how that marketing has played into it. So you know, where are you at in you know, we're in getting into October now. Today's a cold day outside. You know, it's a little gloomy out. The gray skies of Toronto are coming back. Real estate's in a tough time right now. There's all these things happening in the world right now. Like, it's not easy to wake up and come with your energy level that you always show up with a big smile on your face, just ready to pop off. Like, you know, tell us a little bit of how you get into that mindset and what keeps you motivated.
Honestly, even when I worked in the public relations industry, we used to have a saying, it's PR, not ER. So like, it's a matter of knowing what real stress is and what real stress isn't. I'm somebody that stays very, very positive and motivated. Even when I get knocked down, I always get back up and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait till I'm back on top and laughing. Like, it's even just like visualization and just staying positive like that I think that really helps me stay in line and focus on what needs to be done.
That's an amazing statement.
Yeah.
It's PR, not ER. Wow.
Yeah, no, I definitely...
You got to trademark that.
Yeah, I mean, in the PR industry, you see people literally this close to jumping off bridges and stuff like that over stuff that is so not important.
If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it shouldn't matter today.
Exactly, yeah.
And like I said, there's enough things happening around us right now in the world
so it's like, what
that
is
matter
really
today.
Stressful and what isn't.
It's like,
yeah.
This stuff is not.
No, this is not. This is fun.
This should be fun. And if you're stressing out about it, then you're doing the wrong thing.
100%.
You should find something else to do. Okay. I don't know if Miriam's here this morning. She is. Hi, Miriam. Let me get her up here. I don't know. Let's see.
She's on mute, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi, Miriam. How are you?
All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. We're talking about staying positive, and there's a lot going on.
For sure.
For those of you who are listening, I'll just cut into it just so you guys know you're talking to 3 Jewish people right now who are all sitting on the phone here. So talking about being positive and overseeing it, you know, we do got to still go on with our days. And a lot going on, and we won't touch into that too much right now. But Miriam, why don't you give us a little bit of tidbit of what's happening on last week? I heard from somebody that the bond rates went up again, and I know that's something that you always talk about. The mortgage rates follow the bond market, and that's what I heard. I don't know if it's correct, but that's what I overheard last week.
Yeah, so last week it was, and that's what we talked about on the Tuesday last week, and this week it looks like they are going down a little bit this morning. So that's like what came out. So that's like positive on the fixed end. So anyone that did get a rate hold or bought a property last week should have their brokers or reach out to me. I can resubmit and get the rate updated. Hopefully in the next day or so we'll see some. We're looking at low 6s, which on a couple of banks that I just looked at this morning. And I think that's where we are with the rates. We still have some, you know, some 5s for properties under $1 million. So if anybody's got condos and stuff and looking, also have a couple of agents that are looking for pre-construction mortgages that are holding rates, and I have one bank that's doing that now. So if anybody has a closing like June, July on a pre-construction, it might be good to just, get the approval done, get everything in place, and then some of these banks won't even look at income later, even at closing. So now's a good time, and they hold from 1 to 2 years. So all those are advantages. You know what I mean? Anything
That's
that you
great.
don't need to look at the file again. The other thing I think I've been doing is, we want our realtors to reach out to their past clients because those are the best source of referrals. And I'm offering a lot of first-time homebuyer seminars where we can do like a quick Zoom with like a couple of your old clients, or on renewals, what people should be doing to prepare for that. And, just reaching out to those clients that closed 2 years ago, 3 years ago. How are you doing? How are the rates holding? Is there anything we can help you with? Hey, I'm having a seminar and I want to be able to get a couple of you together and a couple of my clients together on a Zoom or whatever you want, even if it's a lunch or something. I'm happy to host and, accommodate people who need that support. I think our role as mortgage brokers has changed a lot, where we need to support our realtors and help them keep the business they get and help build business from there. So I'm working on like a lot of different strategies. So if anybody needs help with that, or just give me a call. I'm happy to do a couple of scripts with you for the calls. Just let me know.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Miriam. Allie, you got any questions for Miriam while we got her on the phone right now? What's, any deals you're working on that?
I mean, the question that everybody wants to know.
Are the rates going up?
Are the rates going down?
Yeah. Miriam, it's Halloween this month. Get your crystal ball out?
I know.
Can you
Next
give us a
announcement-
prediction?
I think next announcement, we're gonna stay even keel. I think people need to focus more on the bond market because nobody's going variable. So whatever they decide on rates, like where it comes to like variable rates, no, that's the announcements. Everyone needs to shift focus a little bit, stop looking at the variable announcements and the Bank of Canada announcements, start looking at the bond markets. And that's where we wanna see some shift. And as soon as we see that, everything's going to start dropping. I'm telling you, I think it just keeps getting pushed. I think we'll stay in the next announcement, another pause, and then I think we'll drop by, third quarter of next year, start slow drop, very slow drop. So there was a projection, which I'm going to share with Josh, which I think everyone will really appreciate, that someone showed like a map for the next 2 years and where the rates are going to be and when they'll start dropping. It's an interesting graph, so I'm happy to share it.
Okay. Thanks, Miriam.
Sure. Have the best day.
You too. All right. So let's get into some real estate talk here. Week over week sales. We look at them regularly. So Toronto freehold week over week sales. And guys, just so you know, we're going to start posting these after our meetings for anyone who's listening live. They're going to go into our company Facebook group. So week over week sales, consistently now we're starting over the past couple weeks, we're seeing a number decline in average home prices over the past 2 weeks. So prices are down, actually the lowest from last week. Now that could be because we went into a long weekend. People did travel, things happened. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. So, we can watch that marker. But prices were the lowest last week and they were over the past month. So prices being around 1,565 with the peak of the past month being over 1,700. Big jump there. Average days on market were up a little bit. So interesting to watch what's happening. We'll see that trend start to change as we get into next week. In the condo market, actually opposite of what's happening on the freehold side of things. One of the highest in the past 4 weeks, 5 week projection just slightly under that, but the highest price per square foot or average price in the past month we're starting to see. Do you do any deals in the past 2-3 weeks that you've
No,
touched on?
not really too much, but even my listing that I have at 390 Cherry, like surprisingly over the Thanksgiving weekend I got so many viewing requests on it.
Good.
Yeah, it was just like because it was kind of sitting for a few minutes there.
Yeah, so that's something that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So you're starting to see some traction on there.
Yeah.
Any of the other agents on the call, if you have some input on some of your listings, what you're noticing, let's share that information. Let's talk about that. If anyone wants to leave a note there, if they want to speak up right now and share some stuff that they're seeing in the market, when we share together, it helps us all. But that's good to know that you're seeing that pick up.
Yeah, no, I definitely was, and I mean, we were considering taking it down just because there's so much competition right now, and prices are a little bit low.
Of course.
But we had somebody actually do a second viewing last Friday. They didn't get it because they're superstitious about the number. It's 404.
Okay.
Yeah,
They didn't like that one.
This close.
Yeah. Well, they should have
We'll
gone
get it
back a
next
second
time.
time
Yeah.
if it was the number. Tell them you'll sell it to them for 8888888.
No, literally.
Okay, well, it's interesting to see. We'll watch how that plays out over the next couple weeks and see how that trend starts to go. But we'll put these charts into the Facebook group. So, Allie, my first question for you, this one comes down, the line. Why don't you read the question for everybody and kind of tell us how what are you thinking here?
What has been something you've changed in your business that has helped you with your success this year?
Yeah.
I think for me, I've actually started to be a bit more structured this year on my day, on like what I do during the day. I've set timelines for when I get up, when I make certain calls, like when I'm going to do showings. So that's kind of helped me setting like little micro goals each day of how many calls I'm going to make, what time I'm going to do the calls between, and stuff like that. Just kind of being a little bit more focused on what I do daily, because like Brandon said last week, before you know it, it's 1 p.m., you're getting a coffee and you're sitting down making your calls. And that really, I found that to be so relatable.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's really just helped kind of putting in a bit more structures and timelines for myself and just kind of staying on what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But also, too, working with you and Jeff has been so helpful. I'm not just saying that to butter you guys up, but it really has. You guys have like literally showed me things and opened my eyes to things that I wouldn't have thought of doing beforehand.
And I think that's what we talked about last week, and it's important. Like we had, I don't know if you saw last week's episode or heard it. We had Dan out, and Dan kind of, we talked about. He's a professional real estate coach, and we said, what are the importance of having a coach? And I think that goes right in line with it. Like, as being an independent contractor, or an independent business essentially, we need that structure, and having somebody to guide you along with some form of coaching and accountability and support and mentorship, it all plays hand in hand into success. Like, real estate is a very independent sport,
Very independent.
and having somebody in your corner, a coach working with you, it definitely makes a big change for anybody.
100%, 100%. There's processes that I would never even have thought of doing last year that I'm doing now.
We're just touching the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Okay. Next question. Go for it.
What question should a buyer be asking an agent before they start working together? I think it's super important to ask your agent, are they full-time or are they part-time? Just because I think that makes a very big difference in the kind of service you're going to get.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do this full-time. I obviously didn't start doing it full-time, but about 6 months in, I was able to make the transition to becoming a full-time agent. And I just feel that I'm able to just focus so much more on my clients, what they need. It really is a 24/7 game, so I'm available whenever people need me. When I was working events and I was doing this, I would go to my events on Saturdays and I do showings in the mornings, and I'd be doing offers in the afternoons at my events. And if somebody bothered me about anything that wasn't offer related, I'd get so annoyed. I'd have like brides standing outside be like, are we doing this?
Oh my God.
Like just 1 minute.
Whoa. That's a true hustler right there.
That's a hustler.
That's interesting. And I think that makes such a big statement. Like, you need to know if you're working with somebody who's a part-time agent versus a full-time, especially right now. It makes the biggest difference. I mean, last week on Thursday, I was in an offer presentation for a house that was sitting on the market for 90 days. And we're negotiating, but there was another offer on the table. Then we came in, and I knew we were going to help the agent get, it was just going to end up that way. We weren't going to overpay. But the second I registered my offer, the other agent just panicked, upped the offer by like $150,000, and literally they just I helped the sellers get another 150 grand, and I knew we were going to. I told my buyers that. I said, listen, if you're not going to pay, there's another, and the other agent was, I could tell, and I saw the agent's name now. It's a new agent. They didn't have the experience, and that's the difference that happens right now. You need somebody who's full-time, waking up in the morning, thinking about your best interest, keeping their pencil sharp, knowing what's happening, listening, talking to people like Miriam, knowing what's going on in the industry so they can guide you accordingly. Like, it's not an easy time right now. Money is not cheap, and you need to be making the right decision. So asking good questions like that are very important. Are you a full-time, are you a part-time agent? Great answer. Great answer, Allie. Okay,
well, thank
next
you.
one. We got some more rapid-fire questions for you. Like I said, we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Here we go. Hold
All
on,
right.
guys.
Let's go. Tell us this
Buckle up.
one.
Okay, what should someone that is starting to what should someone that is
What should someone that is renting start to when?
Oh, you can't even read it either.
Tongue twister
We're
this
both
morning.
illiterate,
Okay.
sorry.
Want me to read it out loud for you?
No, I got it. Okay. When should someone that is renting start to consider buying a property?
Yeah, very important question.
That is an important question. I would probably reach out to like one of my rental clients probably about 4 months before their lease is about to end and just kind of see what their plans are, if they've considered purchasing, if they want me to put them in touch with a mortgage broker, if they want more information about purchasing, stuff like that.
Yeah, and do you think like there's a financial point? Like, do you watch that? I know a lot of our agents, when we're speaking to somebody and they're looking to rent a property, it's a very common question if somebody just wants to rent like a $3,500 a month property. It's like, have you considered buying?
Yeah.
You know, do you think that happens? Like, do you think people should be considering it a lot sooner
100%.
in the renting process?
Well, given the rental prices today, absolutely. I mean, if you can afford it, then 100% you should be buying right now over renting, because not only is it easier to buy right now, but it's just if you're going to spend that much money on monthly rent, you might as well invest something where you'll get it back.
And the rates aren't going to stay like this forever, you know, and that's one thing me and I talk about. Like the competition is down, opportunity's high.
It's a great
it might
time
be
to
a
buy,
little bit. You might be in a little bit of a short-term pain for a long-term gain.
Yeah.
Good answer. Let's keep rolling here. All right.
What's your tip, your go-to tip for someone looking to get into the real estate market? Oh man, gosh, what would I tell someone? I would say just like be ready for the hustle. Like I think most people have this idea that when you go into real estate, like you're literally just gonna start selling $1 million mansions.
Yeah.
But I don't think people see like the climb to get there, like how much work you actually have to put in and how many calls you have to make and how many times you're shot down and rejected and how much rejection it takes before you actually make it somewhere.
100%. I mean,
it's like be prepared. Like you gotta have thick skin.
Well, there's that South Park clip, and we'll cut that into that reel when you say that there of Cartman and Butters just standing there, and he's like, well, Butters, there's the perfect job out there. All you got to do is look nice and take pictures, and people just give you tons of money. And I think people think that's what it's like when you get into real estate on both ends of it. Like,
well, yeah, I remember when I was getting my license, people were like, "Did you watch Selling Sunset?" I was like, "Never seen an episode in my life."
Actually, when you go to school to become a real estate agent in Ontario, the first prerequisite course is actually watching the first 2 seasons of
Literally,
Selling Sunset.
exactly.
That's so funny. Okay, a couple more good ones here for you. This one's specifically
Oh, this
for
is
you.
a good one. How have my event planning skills helped my real estate career? But it's not only my event planning skills. I was a server, like in my earlier years for like a long time server bartender. And that's where I kind of got the idea about going into public relations, because serving is public relations on a way smaller scale.
For sure.
I think it was through there that I actually learned like the most like important life skills, like multitasking, dealing with multiple personalities, how to manage my time effectively, and leadership capabilities. And it's, I think from those, like from serving, that I've carried those life skills with me everywhere I've gone. But in terms of event planning, again, you got to be organized, you got to have a timeline, you got to like be good under pressure. I've had so many situations where things have just gone absolutely horrible, but you just have to like remain calm and just like lead everybody through the end. You can't just throw up your hands and quit. Like you're kind of like, you got to keep going.
Of course, keep on moving. Keep going. That's a great answer.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I think that helps a lot of people. You know, you think about it. It's there's a relation in everything that you do and how you relate it back, and you can start to see that as you know. I work with a lot of agents, so I see the different like their paths of how they transition certain pieces of it into their career, and it's interesting to see. All right, so you said it's Halloween. You got some horror stories. It's called Tales from the Lockbox, so we want to know, give us your horror story. What's your tale from the Lockbox, Allie?
So this is a very, very recent tale from the Lockbox. This probably happened maybe 2-3 weeks ago. In honor of Halloween, I'm going to share this story because it's a bit spooky.
Okay.
So I was
excited. Get the popcorn,
Don't
Lucas.
get too excited, you guys. You might be traumatized after this.
Oh, no.
So I was doing
Keep
a
it
showing,
PG.
a rental showing with these 2 adorable cuties, 22 years old from Guelph, like making a move into the city. They're so excited about this transition, this life change. So we set up these showings.
11 Brunel, they're looking at
88 Scott.
everything right there, the classic buildings.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So number one, the traffic completely threw them off that day. They were so stressed because
Was there a Blue Jays game?
yeah, so they were a half an hour late for every showing. They were so stressed out. I was just chilling, having a good time, watching them freak out. So the last showing we decided to walk over to because it was 10 minutes away from the one we were at. So we're maybe like 3 minutes away from getting there, and there's a man lying on the side of the road, like, and it's not like a pretty sight to be seen. Like the hand is like shriveled like this, like mouth is agape, and like there's like a crowd around him, and one woman is literally feeling his pulse and screaming, "He's got no pulse!"
Right.
And like, so he's literally dead. And so the 2 guys I was with just looked at each other terrified, like so scared. I showed them the unit and I haven't heard from them since.
Oh no. They got spooked by
They
Toronto.
were so scared by Toronto.
Yeah, well, you know, it is a city.
It's what happens. My sister and I always say, if you haven't seen someone die in Toronto, you're not from Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, you move from somewhere like Guelph, and not that the Guelph
Yeah.
doesn't have its own things happening, but you're putting people in a densely populated area,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff, and the world is not easy right now.
The
and
city
we're
would have
seeing
eaten
more
them
of it.
alive.
Or they would have come and they would have gotten thicker skin, like
Exactly,
you said before.
exactly. You never know.
What else can you share with us, Allie, before we come towards an end here? Like, you know, this is your time to shine.
Oh my God.
Tell us a little bit, like, talk to us, give us a little bit more
Oh, okay. Well,
insight. Like,
this is kind of fun. So I'm doing
Go.
yes, it is. This is fun, and I'm doing the Halloween pumpkin pickup. that
Right, I
you
meant to
guys-
ask you about that,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm so excited about it. So I'm doing.
So tell us what that is. So for people
Yeah.
who don't know, who aren't doing it, we put this together with you. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about that.
Okay, so I don't live in Richmond Hill, but my parents live in Richmond Hill, and there's a very big community down there of people that know each other and all this stuff. So it's really, really fun. Every time I go up there, I walk my dog around there. It's a very friendly neighborhood. Like, hi, Bill. Hi, Joe. Like, how are the kids? So you sent out this opportunity. I thought it was a really, really good opportunity as somebody who works in events and loves putting on little productions like these.
Yeah, they work really well.
Totally fun, yeah. So they go hand in hand. So I'm doing it October 21st at my parents' house from 12 to 2. We're doing candy bags and the pumpkins. And
best.
yeah, I think it's just going to be so fun. I love Halloween, and I just think it's a really fun community event.
And for those of you who don't know what we're referring to, if you haven't heard it, and you know, for this year it might be a little bit too late for planning, but we put a program where we go into our neighborhoods, and there's several agents, myself, Allie, and a couple other people who are participating in this. We're on October 21st, and we'll have some content to share from you that we'll be giving out pumpkins to our individual neighborhoods for all the people in the neighborhood. So everyone in the area received a flyer about free pumpkins that day, the week before Halloween, so you have time to carve them on Sunday. Come on out. We have candy, we have hot apple cider, depending on the event that you're at, and it's a great way for us as agents to meet our neighbors and give back to the community. You know, pumpkins are available to everybody, but when you're driving by, you just come and grab one, say hello, and it's a good opportunity for us as agents to meet more people in the neighborhood and have a good time, so and give back to the community.
And it's a different marketing technique, I think. You know, it's different from what most people do with the typical social media and stuff like that. I think it's just like something different to try and fun.
And now that we've kind of, you know, inspired you with this
Yes.
initiative, how is your marketing brain and your PR brain, like, has it started to roll and
Yes.
come up with ideas? So give us some ideas that you think that you want to start to pull out down the road.
I mean, I'm definitely going to see how this Halloween thing goes, and I'm hoping it turns into like an annual thing and maybe gets like bigger and bigger each year. That's
Yeah.
what the goal is for this. So we're just going to see what happens. But I know it'll be like really, really good. My neighborhood's really busy. Anytime I put something out on the street, it gets taken in 2 seconds. So we're just going to see how this one goes out, and then maybe we might start doing more family.
Well, it's my
events.
third year doing
Yeah.
it, so really excited.
Yeah, so I
it's
hope
fun.
it turns into something bigger.
And if COVID didn't block me in the middle, it would have been like my 5th year. But it's fun. It's a good afternoon. You know, you have a good time. So for those of you who are listening to this on October 21st, mine's going to be at 422 Beverly Glen in Thornhill. Allie's having one in Richmond Hill.
2 Kittredge Court. Oh, we're going to be down the street from
And
each other.
I think Malad is also going to be somewhere north in the Richmond Hilly kind of Markham area doing his
nice.
as well. Yeah, so we got a couple happening around the city. Well, guys, thank you so much. Allie, you've been amazing to
Thank
chat
you.
with. Thank you for joining us again, guys. This is Allie Hosch, one of our great agents here at property.ca. You will see her name on the top of big lists in the city soon. She is diving into her business. She is structuring it. She is bringing in new habits, new skill sets. She is committed to being a top agent in the city of Toronto. So look out for Allie Hosch if you haven't seen her before. Once again, guys, thank you for listening. I'm Josh Benoliel, your host here at Tales from the Lockbox. Have a great week. Not a Greek week. Have a great week. Stay hungry. Stay motivated. Try something new in 10X, baby. Let's go. Do something new. Big actions. Have a good week.